the beginner to the professional, from the novice to the master, from playing and experimenting with things to create a masterpiece. These are all the elements of art. Our art is sound on this show. Hi, I'm L.V. Smith, host of the show Sounds Within. It was about 5 years ago I wandered in the building of Pasadena Media to learn about television and broadcasting. So we did our training, and then there was this gal called Smile Lady who walked me all through this thing, how to produce a show, and I owe her a big thanks. And thanks to people like James and Dan, and where we all grow together, we were able to produce shows that we see today. So if you ever think about doing TV, you come on down to Pasadena Media. Now on with the show. Now, we've done a lot of music, and music is great, and we had singer-songwriters, and we have poets, and we have actors and things. Well, let's get down to where sound is important within the community. So, I can't think of a better way to have someone who's involved with the community. We have Mr. Ramon Barajas. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Now, I'm going to start with my favorite question. What was the very first sound you ever remembered in your life?
Well, as far as I can remember, is the sound of music of a song called Bésame Mucho.
Ooh! Okay, great. Now, what makes Ramon, Ramon?
That's a good question, actually. I would say innovation.
Innovation.
And imagination.
And imagination. You could expound a little bit on that?
Well, as a multi-artist, I have an imagination and an endless innovation.
Now, this is visual art?
That is both visual and performing.
Now, what was the very first sound that motivated you to do what you do?
It was actually the sound of a saxophone.
A saxophone. Now, wait a minute here. We're going to be talking about, what are we going to talk about? The community?
Yes.
And the sound of a saxophone motivated you to be involved with the community.
Correct.
That is so unique. That is. Now, we're going to get on to find out, what do you do?
Well, as far as for what do, I am an actor, I am a model, I'm a dancer, art director, producer, and writer.
Wow, you are truly multifaceted. Would you share some of the things you have done?
Sure. Well, for the longest time, currently, it's more of the dancing aspect. I've been involved in several dance teams. I've been involved in performances at Pasadena City College and more show teams in Los Angeles.
Now, what does that involve?
When it comes to that, mainly in the Latin category, I am involved with Latin ballroom. That is my forte in dance.
Latin ballroom. So that's like where we have the waltz and things. So the dances involved in the Latin ballroom, what are those dances?
In the Latin aspect, it is salsa, bachata, cha-cha, rumba.
Merengue too?
Merengue.
Las cumbias?
Tango, bolero,
It's great stuff. Now, you mentioned that you were into other things besides the dance teams. Oh, wait a minute. What is a dance team?
Well, a dance team is that of whether it's organized by whether students or, it was in my aspect, and an organized group of students when it comes to getting organized for like a showcase or an exhibition.
And now you mentioned before you were a model.
Correct.
For who did you work for, or do you work for in modeling?
Mainly it was independent. Never had the opportunity to work with an agency. And up until now, it's still independent.
You definitely have the looks to be a model, that's for sure.
Thank you.
What are things you do? You write too, you say?
Correct.
So what have you written that's published?
Right now, just a few poems here and there, but what I'm really actually working on is my very first novel.
And what does that encompass?
Well, the novel, just I can't say too much.
Of course not.
It's a secret, of course.
Yeah.
It's some parts that had to do with my life. So in a way, like a biography, certain life experiences that had to do with love, hate, and betrayal.
So we're talking about a nonfiction, or is this going to be a fictional character about a nonfiction life?
A little bit of both, actually.
Oh, that's even better. So you have any idea when that novel is coming out?
At the moment, I'm still writing, so I have no idea. Actually, I can't say at this moment,
But it will be
stay
a
tuned.
work of art.
Correct.
Wonderful. Now, you said something, or maybe not, you said something about being involved in the community.
That is correct.
Now, what does that mean to be involved with the community?
Well, as far as to be involved in the community, arts is definitely a cause that I've always been passionate about since a young age, no matter what form or medium. And currently here in Pasadena, I'm a very big advocate when it comes to the arts, and I've been working with such organizations like the Alkebulan Cultural Center.
What is Alkebulan? I probably didn't say that right. Alkebulan, is it?
Alkebulan.
Alkebulan?
Correct.
I'll work on it. I never heard of that, and it's in Pasadena, you say?
Yes, correct.
What is it?
It's a cultural center aimed to the history and the arts of the African, its culture.
So you, as a person that brings the Latino experience, you're involved with the African culture too?
Very correct. More multi-ethnic, really.
Multi-ethnic. That's really nice. So besides multi-cultural, so here you are representing the Latino community, and then you have the African community, African-American community. What other communities are you involved with?
The Asian community as well.
So that includes Chinese, Japanese,
Correct.
Vietnamese,
Correct.
Indonesian, which reminds me, I know you from somewhere. Who do we connect with? I'm trying, the name escapes me.
Joshua Chitun.
Joshua Chitun. Let me guess. Student Direct.
Correct.
Student Direct.
Correct.
Yes, yes. How did you and Josh get together?
We actually came across one another in 2008 in Glendale College.
Uh-huh.
And it actually did start with an organization known as MECA, Multi-Ethnic Cultural Association.
I remember Mecca. So Student Direct is the offshoot of Mecca?
Correct.
Wow, that is powerful. So, continue on.
And so once we automatically pretty much connected, we saw that we had similar interests to work in the community when it came to the student community. And so we got together and we decided to create an organization that would reach out far more than just the student community.
Yes. Now, when did Mecca first come together?
MECA itself came before my involvement back in 2006.
Yes.
And it was actually begun here at Pasadena City College.
Right here in Pasadena.
Correct.
I love it. So, I know Josh is pretty much dealing with the Los Angeles area, so you're pretty much representing his hand in the Pasadena area.
Correct.
Wow, wow. So, what else have you been doing?
As well as reaching out to art organizations and really be involved with the schools and the arts programs.
Yes, I keep hearing so much about school, being involved with schools. And I just heard before the show began, there was this woman, this important spokesperson for getting teachers, and she says something alarming about teachers leaving the profession. And a lot of it has to do with the removal of things like the arts. Were you around when the arts were pretty much part of your education?
For some part, yes.
And so you experienced the cutbacks.
Correct.
Ouch. So what were some of the arts available at the time?
At that time, it was mostly music and fine arts.
Fine arts, that's art too. and like dance, and oh yeah. Now, what were some of the experiences you remember? What was the first to leave in the arts?
It was definitely more of the performing arts first.
Ouch. So you were pretty much involved then in the
Correct.
performing arts?
Correct.
As a dancer?
Yes.
Musician?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that hurts. And I trust the visual arts as well.
That came after.
So after seeing these wonderful programs pulled out of your education, I'm sure you experienced a loss.
Yes.
What was that loss like?
I mean, the arts have been a part of my life for such the longest time, and for them to just disappear, it just, I mean, it's for me, it's the way of how I communicate and express myself.
And I'm sure you would vouch that it motivates learners to pursue academics in a more friendly or encouraging environment. Would I be saying too much about that?
No, you have it straight on point.
I'm glad I'm not just the only voice in the woods. And have you met any children that you're involved with in the arts to see that encourages you? Because right now I'm starting to see these shops and stores and props where people say, come here to learn our arts. And it turned out those people are retired art teachers or music teachers. And that's frightening.
It is. You know, I've actually been able to speak to a lot of these teachers, and who you actually used to teach at different schools at different levels, whether elementary to high school, as well as direct testimonies from some of these children. You know, and it was shocking because I saw myself in them.
You saw yourself in them. How did you see yourself?
You know, the look in their eyes, the same feeling I felt when the one thing you really appreciate the most is taken away from you.
Yes. Now, we touched on the dark side, or what the problem is happening in education, and which is part of communicating with the community. What's being done, and you said you do reach out to these art foundations.
Correct.
And what is it you do with them?
Well, right now, it's just been talking back and forth of creating an environment in which we can come together and find ways in which we can help the progress of bringing arts back into schools, back into the community where it truly matters.
Wow. You know, we're going to take a little breather to let our audience take care of business, get a drink or something, visit the restroom or whatever, and then we'll come right back to you. So stay tuned. Okay, got it. Hi, I'm LV Smith, host of the show Sounds Within. Our guest today is Mr. Ramon Barajas, and he has a lot to share with us today, especially involving the community and with the arts. And we were talking about the problem, what is missing within the community to share wonderful experiences, and one of the best ways involving the arts, right? And you mentioned that you also part involving art foundations, involving the community and expressing themselves through the arts, right?
Correct.
Now, we were talking about what is being done now to get these foundations, these art foundations, to be involved with the community.
Well, when it comes to that, the discussion has started to create a first ever multi-arts festival here in Pasadena.
So what does it include? Now what are all the art disciplines that?
Whether visual, performing, media, the multi-arts itself in every single category.
Dance,
and
film, of course,
theater,
acting. Yes.
acting,
Oh, yeah.
fashion, et cetera, et cetera.
That is definitely art right there. And there's so many wonderful facets. And when you agree that many members of the community are undiscovered artists for the community as a whole, wouldn't you agree
And
to
that is correct. And that is something actually that is very surprising, considering that Pasadena is the city of arts.
It is the city of arts. Like we have here, one of the folks here who works often as a stage manager, or he's in the studio, and he happens to be a nice guitarist. He hosts a show, and that is Mr. James Jones Jr. and on a show that's called Anybody Can Play Guitar. And then we have someone who's going to have a show, Miss Letha Johnson, and she is a renowned singer, an undiscovered renowned singer who's going to be prominent, so keep an ear out for her. Now, that's just an example of what I've known here. Now, tell us about some people in the community that you experience that are artists and they probably don't even know that they're truly artists.
Well, to go back on that, when it comes to, let's say, the Alkebulan Cultural Center, a lot of their programs that they used to have dealt a lot with boys' choirs, for example.
I never knew that.
You know, and now it's more of the new organization that it's still music-based, you know, a little bit of underground music, you know, so it's a new wave of sound, but
it's their sound.
It's their sound.
You got to start somewhere. You start with yourself.
Correct.
That's great. Now, now for dance, what's happening over there in Albion dance?
Well, when it comes to dance, at Pasadena State College, for example, that is where the hit is. I'm actually part of the salsa club there on campus.
I should learn salsa. I love the music so much.
You know, so we've been doing a lot of performances. We just recently had one back in November, actually. We've actually started getting together with other cultural clubs on campus, and they actually have started to show us their cultural dances.
Ooh, so that helps bring them out even more.
Correct. You know, so it brings together the arts and multicultural.
Yes, yes. Now, what is the age span for those to be involved, let's say, something in these arts, these festivals?
Really, there is no age limit.
There's no limit?
I mean, when you're an artist, there is no limit.
That's true. That is true. So I bet you've been enlightened with some of the people that shared their art.
It's definitely been fascinating. It's been an honor.
And how is the community involved with these art foundations?
Some of them actually are not, because they're either not aware or not as enough progress has been made to unify.
So the reach out aspect is the challenge.
That's been a challenge.
And what's being proposed to reach out?
The proposition right now is setting up a council, like a united council for the arts. You know, bringing together the local businesses that deal in the arts, teachers, dance companies, music, businesses, et cetera, schools. Anyone in the arts is welcome to be a part of this council, to get organized.
Now, when I was new to the profession, when I was teaching then, and we were told to go to some workshop, and we heard this word called art council or art foundation, and sort of like put a wall up to me, like, oh, these people want to make me feel bad about myself, and what does I have to offer, blah, blah, blah. You're experiencing any kind of...
I have, mostly of, do I have to be a member? How much do I have to pay to be something a part of this? So a bit of a challenge, in that aspect as well.
Yes, that is a challenge, indeed. Now, you mentioned something about film and acting. Now, there's a challenge to get resources, to get the wherewithal to produce or to have a place to perform in, let's say, theater, acting, whatever. What's being done about that?
Well, when it comes to that, I'm actually in talks of working with a few groups that they have good relations with a few schools and having access to creative spaces.
That's wonderful. I keep hearing that word schools, which is my heartfelt profession, which I was a part of, and I missed it and a whole bit, but it's time to give others that opportunity to take over. So I also remember Brother Chitun's thing about Student Direct, where they had places to get students involved, and they're now trying to even reach elementary schools, which I find most heartening because everybody puts that age limit thing, which you brought up.
Yes.
And I want to say thank you for tearing it down. Because when I had my class, my kids were operating equipment. We taught with that equipment. So yes, I'm glad to see you tear that down. Have you been involved with, let's say, having young people direct or produce? And do you have, or do they have anything to share with us?
I've actually been involved in a couple projects in which anyone is welcome to be a part of that process. They get the experience, hands-on training, and that is pretty much the aim of all these workshops, projects, et cetera, that we try to do.
So they begin to learn how to write a script,
Correct.
or to operate equipment, how to direct, how to set up lighting and all that stuff.
Correct.
Which is a big process, but it can be inviting for those who are hungry
Yes,
and those who are limited to resources.
correct.
Fabulous, fabulous. We have this demon, I call it a demon, it's called time. So we're going to speed things up a bit here, and I'd like to find out what are the future plans, let's say, of you. Maybe the future collaboration projects are coming within. We'd like to know what's going on there.
Sure thing. To bring everything together when it comes to that, the future definitely involves creating an online community.
Community, that is the key word, the C word. What do you mean by involving the community?
Involving the community meaning bringing all the resources that we've gathered up until this time, and with our mentors and students and everyone, bring them all together to finally showcase everything that we've been trying to do and push forward. It actually started with the direction of a new project called artistdirect.me.
Ooh, artistdirect.me. Now, the community needs a voice. And because the communities, maybe they may not have resources so much, but they are very rich, extremely rich in talent that's untapped. Untapped. But they need a voice to represent them. What's going to be done about that?
Well, when it comes to that, this online community seeks to be the platform, to be the voice, to connect, to collaborate, and to contribute amongst each other.
You have an idea who that voice might eventually be?
Well, the idea is for the artist itself to be the voice.
Great. Now, I understand, like our dear brother Joshua Chitung, who's seeking office as senator, you too have aspirations.
That is correct.
Would you care to share with the audience what they are?
As many aspirations, one of them, as of recently, is to seek office in the United States Congress.
You are going to run for the seat in United States Congress. Gee, this is groundbreaking for me. This is groundbreaking. So here, our man here, Ramon Barajas, is seeking office. We won't know which area it is or whatever, but like he's going to run for as a United States Congressperson. So kudos to you. Kudos to you, sir. And that's wonderful. Now, there's your camera of fame right there. Do you have any words of encouragement to future Ramon or Ramona Barajas?
Well, when it comes to words of wisdom, what can I say? But the challenge is there, but it's all about overcoming that challenge.
Overcoming a challenge is a very, very big thing because, like, a lot of times we feel we just can't, who's going to hold our hand or sort of thing. And what does one do to reach for that support?
Well, when it comes to that, there's always individuals that are there to lend a hand, such as individuals like myself, or LV Smith.
Oops. Okay.
And we're here, and it's all about just taking that initiation.
How can the audience contact you to find out how to get involved with their community, specifically in Pasadena, and to reach out to you?
Well, right now they can get in contact with me via Facebook directly with my name, Ramon Barajas III, or they can via my website, barajas.us.
Wonderful. And I know we'll post all the info on how to get in contact. And I cannot thank you, Ramon Barajas, to stop by to Sounds Within show. So, do tune in again for another episode of Sounds Within with LV Smith, and we'll see you then.
Sound, a group of vibrations, things that can be heard. Sound can influence.